All right, this is Steve Kornacki. He's going to discuss the Debbie Wasserman Schultz getting her ass kicked to the curb. I just want to say this early on, and I haven't seen this clip completely, but it's people like Barney Frank, who's the co-chair of the Rules Committee, who basically issued a statement, and he claims it was never expected that Debbie Wasserman Schultz would preside over the convention proceedings this week, and that's a bunch of bullshit. And it's basically disingenuous guys like Barney Frank that are basically giving the Democratic Party a bad name as far as not being open and transparent. They knew damn well that Debbie Wasserman Schultz was supposed to gavel in the convention, gavel it out, and give a speech. She was on their program. So how Barney Frank can issue a statement that says that the chair of the DNC wasn't expected to reside over the convention is a bunch of crap. And it's just as disingenuous as Joel Benenson, who is also a big-time Clinton strategist, as saying that he really didn't know anything and didn't. He basically should have just said he didn't want to comment and left it there, but he basically tried to spin it. Whereas Barney Frank, he isn't part of the Clinton campaign apparatus, but he's a big-time Hillary Clinton supporter. So it's the same thing. It looks like Clinton was trying to put the fix in to put the kibosh on Bernie Sanders. Anyway, here's Steve Kornacki.
Today, here, that may be a fitting backdrop for what has been a day of some simmering tensions, finally boiling over inside the Democratic Party on the eve of their national convention. Welcome to MSNBC's special coverage of the Democratic National Convention live here in Philadelphia. Less than 21 hours now from the opening gavel, the party grappling with a major shakeup. Just this afternoon, hours ago, Democratic National Committee Chair Debbie Wasserman Schultz announcing her resignation effective after the convention. The shakeup comes after WikiLeaks published thousands of private DNC emails, some of them appearing to show top DNC officials criticizing and mocking Bernie Sanders during the primary campaign. This despite the DNC's repeated public assurances that they were neutral in the race. Reaction, as you might expect now, pouring in. The Sanders campaign is praising Wasserman Schultz's ouster. And here's campaign manager Jeff Weaver less than 2 hours ago on the set with Chuck Todd.
What the resignation of the chairwoman signals today is, in fact, the people that support Bernie Sanders have been heard, and that we can effect change, but we just have to keep working at it.
The Clinton campaign responded by praising Wasserman Schultz. Also, they announced that the DNC chair will be hired as a campaign surrogate and honorary co-chair. And after a chaotic Republican convention last week in Cleveland, Donald Trump now chiming in saying, quote, "I always said that Debbie Wasserman Schultz was overrated. The Dems convention is cracking up and Bernie is exhausted. No energy left." And just moments ago, RNC Chairman Reince Priebus and Trump campaign chief Paul Manafort speaking to reporters about the news. Here's Priebus.
Today's events show, I think, really what an uphill climb the Democrats are facing this week in unifying their party, and starting out the week by losing your party chairman over long-standing bitterness between factions. There's no way to keep something together.
And Manafort put out this statement saying, quote, "Hillary Clinton should follow Wasserman Schultz's lead and drop out over her failure to safeguard top secret classified information both on her unauthorized home server and while traveling abroad." Wasserman Schultz's emails only put the Democratic Party at risk, but Hillary Clinton's emails put all of America at risk. And joined now here on set by Clinton campaign press secretary Brian Fallon. Brian, thanks for taking a few minutes. So, couple of things to ask you about here. First of all, the statement from Wasserman Schultz in announcing her resignation, she's saying after the convention. So, I mean, you can hear the Bernie people behind us right now. Bernie Sanders has been clear. He wants her out for a long time. Is it your understanding tomorrow when this convention opens, she's going to walk out on that stage and try to give a speech to Sanders delegates?
Well, look, Chairwoman Wasserman Schultz has played such a big part in getting our party to the position where it is today, where we're in prime position to win this general election against Donald Trump. And she's going to play a big role in the months to come, and she is going to be a key part of this 50-state strategy that we've embarked on over the coming weeks and months. So she desires the opportunity to address the delegates this week in some of her final days as DNC chairwoman. And I know that there's going to be some people that probably disagree with that decision, but think of the gesture that she's making in a nod towards party unity today. It is a huge step for her to announce that she's stepping down at the end of this week. There have been a lot of conspiracy theories.
She got pushed out, and she got pushed out quick. Once those emails leaked on Friday, today's Sunday, she's out. And they're crazy if they let her come out there and try to make any kind of a speech, because she's going to get booed like crazy. And Obama tried to soften the fall by placing her in charge of the 50-state campaign to elect Democrats. So that's just Democratic spin for she was out, she got kicked out, and she got kicked out by President Obama, by the Democratic Party, and even Clinton, who is her main buddy, wouldn't back her.
And allegations thrown at the DNC over the last few months, a lot of them completely unmerited. And in the interest of party unity, she's stepping down today, effective at the end of the convention. I think that goes a long way.
Party unity, my
further
ass.
together.
But do you think, does she know what she's walking into tomorrow? Because a lot of people are thinking back to Ted Cruz last week, how he got booed by all those delegates on the floor. You got over 1,000 Sanders delegates here. That reaction's going to be pretty intense, probably.
Well, I hope people are mindful of the fact that at the end of the week, she'll be stepping down from this role, which again is, I think, given all the work that she's put into building this party over the last years since she's been selected by President Obama to be the DNC chair, I think this is a huge gesture on her part to ensure a distraction-free convention so that we can keep the spotlight on this tremendous ticket of Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine that are already generating so much enthusiasm.
Bernie Sanders has said today, he said, look, this confirms what I've always said about the DNC, basically. He says they had their thumbs on the scales for the primary. He also said, didn't change the outcome. He's not saying he'd be the nominee today if any of this stuff hadn't happened. But when you look back at the primary process right now, and the DNC's role in the primary process, do you now say, yeah, that wasn't fair?
Well, first of all, let me just go on the record and say what we've been saying all day, which is there's absolutely no excuse for the email that has come out suggesting that anyone's religion be weaponized against them in a political context. Absolutely unacceptable.
That's got to be followed.
I get to the bottom of this. The reality is that with all due respect to the DNC, nothing that they might exchange on emails is going to dictate the results over and above the will of the people, the voters that went to the polls and caucuses, and by every measure, you saw Hillary Clinton win a convincing margin in terms of the delegates, in terms of the popular vote, in terms of the states won, and that's why Senator Sanders himself is acknowledging that nothing the DNC could have or did do could have at all affected the outcome. That's why I think you've seen Bernie Sanders accept Hillary Clinton as the nominee, endorse her, appear with her, and he has said he's going to work his heart out over the coming months.
And you mentioned, too, Debbie Wasserman Schultz going to have a role with the Clinton campaign going forward. Though, when you look at what was going on at the DNC, what's been revealed in these emails, are you comfortable having her aboard, seeing now what happened at the DNC while she was running it?
Look, there's no one more committed than her to helping defeat Donald Trump this fall. I think she...
No, there's no one more committed than her on getting Hillary Clinton elected. Now, as far as the DNC, if those debates had been scheduled in prime time and Bernie given a lot more exposure than he got, that could have had a significant effect on the number of votes that he received. And as far as the DNC cutting him off from the data pools of information for 3 or 4 days, obviously that had an effect. And it was so bad that he had to go to court and sue in order to get his access back. So don't sit up there and give that Clinton bullshit spin that the DNC's actions didn't have an effect on the campaign, because that's just a straight out lie. And you're just doing the same thing that Joel Benenson did as far as Clinton's spin that nothing to see here, let's move along. Bullshit.
understands the stakes as well as anybody, and we have committed to something that has been a long-term priority of the DNC, which is to build up these state parties to help with these down-ballot races, make investments in these states that are not the traditional battleground states, but that help extend and build a Democratic bench, down-ballot races, so that we continue to have a good field of Democratic candidates for years to come. We're making those investments. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, as the former chairwoman at the end of this week of the DNC, just like Howard Dean, Tim Kaine, and others before her that made those same investments in those states, they're going to be well positioned to help us lead that campaign across all 50 states.
I saw they say convention bounces aren't what they used to be. Used to be to get 10, 20-point bounces from these things. We don't know the full extent of what Trump got or didn't get out of last week. I saw one battleground poll today that suggested maybe a 2-point jump for him. Hillary Clinton can get more than that this week?
I think that you said it right. The convention bounces are a thing of the past. The level of ideological intransigence right now and partisan nature of the electorate right now in terms of people being as closely associated with either Democratic or Republican Party is so enmeshed right now that it's baked into the cake. I think it's hard to find that room to grow. But I think what we can do...
Damn, that was a lot of bullshit to say that he doesn't think that she's going to get a big bounce out of the convention.
Begin to lay that narrative so that for those remaining persuadable voters, they start to understand the stakes of this election, the contrast that is going to be on display for the next 3.5 months between Hillary Clinton, who believes we're stronger together, and Donald Trump, who, as you heard last week, is talking doom and gloom about the state of the country and has no solutions to fix the problems that we face.
All right, Brian Fallon from the Clinton campaign. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Jesus, he's got the proper title of communications person for Clinton, because, man, he burned a lot of words. They say something that he could have said in 5.